Hey everyone, ready for another deep dive?
Always.
So today we're tackling Ray Kurzweil and
Oh, wow.
his predictions about the future.
Big topic.
Yeah, specifically this thing called the Singularity.
Right.
Now, you might know him as the inventor of the flatbed scanner,
Super useful.
which, let's face it, it's pretty awesome. But Kurzweil's also this futurist who's made some incredibly bold claims about where technology is taking us.
He has, and what I find really interesting about him is that he doesn't just throw these ideas out there,
Right.
He's meticulously studied trends,
Yeah.
and he really believes we're on this path of accelerating progress.
Okay, so explain this accelerating progress idea.
Sure.
What makes him think things are speeding up so dramatically?
Well, he calls it the law of accelerating returns.
Okay.
Think about it like this. Each new breakthrough builds upon the ones that came before it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like we're not just adding innovations, we're multiplying them.
Okay.
And this leads to a rate of progress that just keeps getting faster and faster.
Exponential.
Exactly, exponentially.
So it's not just that we're getting better gadgets, it's that the pace of improvement itself is increasing.
That's exactly right.
Wow.
And he uses this idea to predict some truly remarkable things.
Right.
Like the singularity, this point in time when artificial intelligence surpasses human intelligence.
Okay.
Leading to this explosion of innovation that's almost impossible for us to grasp right now.
That's a pretty massive claim. So if this law of accelerating returns is the engine,
Yeah.
what are the specific advancements that Kurzweil thinks will drive us to the singularity?
He points to three key revolutions.
Okay.
Genetics, nanotechnology, and artificial intelligence.
Okay.
And he really sees all these areas as deeply intertwined.
Okay, let's break those down.
Sure.
Genetics first. We're already seeing so much buzz around gene editing and all that.
Right.
But how does Kurzweil see this playing into the singularity?
Well, he believes we're moving towards an era where we could literally reprogram our biology.
Huh.
Imagine, like, fixing genetic defects, enhancing our abilities,
Yeah.
and even extending our lifespans dramatically,
Really?
all through precise manipulation at the genetic level.
It's like designer babies and...
In a way, yeah, but taken to a whole other level.
Wow, that sounds like something straight out of a science fiction movie. And what about nanotechnology? I always pictured tiny robots when I hear that word.
Yeah.
Is that even remotely realistic?
It's more realistic than you might think.
Okay.
Kurzweil envisions this future where nanobots can manipulate matter at the atomic level.
Oh, wow.
This means we could create, like, incredibly strong materials,
Mm-hmm.
build complex devices at incredibly small scales,
Okay.
and potentially even repair our own bodies at the cellular level.
Wow, that's pretty mind-boggling.
It is.
But it sounds like AI is the real linchpin here.
It's definitely a core part of his vision.
So is he saying that machines will become smarter than us?
That's a core part of his prediction.
Okay.
He believes AI will eventually reach a point where it not only matches but surpasses human intelligence in every aspect.
Oh, wow.
It'll be able to solve problems we haven't even conceived of, make breakthroughs at an astonishing rate, and potentially even manage entire societies more efficiently than humans ever could.
Okay, so we've got these three revolutions all happening at once,
Right.
accelerating each other's progress,
Yeah.
and ultimately leading us to this point where everything changes, the singularity.
Exactly.
But what does life actually look like after the singularity happens?
That's where things get truly fascinating.
Okay.
Kurzweil paints a picture of a world transformed,
Mm-hmm.
with disease largely eradicated, poverty addressed through AI-driven solutions, and even death becoming, as he puts it, optional.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
Optional death. That's where I need a little more explanation.
Sure.
How does he see that happening?
Well, Kurzweil believes that advanced technologies like nanobots could continuously repair our bodies
Okay.
at the cellular level,
Oh.
essentially halting the aging process.
So just stop aging.
That's the idea. And if that's not enough,
Yeah.
he also envisions a future where we can upload our consciousness,
Okay.
our thoughts, our memories, our personalities
Yeah.
into a digital realm, achieving a kind of digital immortality.
Whoa, digital immortality.
Yeah.
That sounds like we're stepping into some serious science fiction territory here.
It's definitely still in the realm of speculation, but
Is there even a shred of scientific evidence to support that idea?
there are researchers working on brain-computer interfaces
Okay.
that could allow us to, interact with computers using only our thoughts.
Like telekinesis?
Well, not quite telekinesis, but it's a potential first step towards being able to map and perhaps even transfer consciousness.
Okay, so let's say for argument's sake that this is all possible. Wouldn't that radically change what it means to be human?
It's a big question.
I mean, if we can live forever as digital beings,
Yeah.
what happens to our physical bodies, our relationships, our sense of self?
Those are some of the profound philosophical questions Kurzweil's ideas force us to confront. If we detach our consciousness from our physical forms, do we lose something essential to our humanity?
Right.
Or do we gain a new kind of existence, transcending the limitations of our current biology?
It's a lot to wrap your head around.
It is.
And I have to admit, a part of me is thinking, this is incredible.
Yeah.
But another part of me is wondering if it's all a bit too good to be true.
Sure.
Are there any, dissenting voices out there, people who aren't quite as optimistic about Kurzweil's predictions?
Oh, there were definitely critics who argue that Kurzweil is overly optimistic, especially about the timeline.
Okay.
They point out that predicting the future of technology is notoriously difficult.
Yeah.
For example, some experts believe that Moore's law, which Kurzweil relies on heavily, might be slowing down.
That was the idea that computing power doubles every couple of years, right?
Exactly.
So are they saying progress isn't happening as fast as Kurzweil thinks?
Well, the pace of improvement in computer chips might not continue at the same exponential rate. But Kurzweil argues that even if Moore's law hits a wall, other advancements like quantum computing could pick up the slack.
Right.
And keep the overall rate of progress going.
So maybe the timeline is debatable.
Yeah.
But what about the fundamental idea of AI surpassing human intelligence?
Right.
Some people seem really concerned about that.
Good
Almost
point.
like they're afraid of what superintelligent machines might do.
It's a concern that's been explored in science fiction for decades.
Yeah.
And it's certainly something we need to consider seriously as AI becomes more powerful.
So it's not about stopping progress, it's about steering it in the right direction.
Exactly. Kurzweil himself emphasizes the importance of building AI that's aligned with human values.
Okay.
He argues that we need to design these systems with safeguards, ensuring they prioritize human well-being
Right.
and operate within ethical boundaries.
But how do you teach a machine about ethics? Isn't that a very human concept?
It's definitely a challenge.
Yeah.
But researchers are exploring ways to instill ethical principles into AI systems, perhaps by training them on massive data sets of human literature, philosophy, and legal codes.
Interesting.
The idea is to give AI a deep understanding of human values and guide its decision-making accordingly.
That's a fascinating concept.
It is.
But even if we solve the ethics problem, there's still some pretty wild ideas in Kurzweil's vision.
Sure. Like
that brain-cloud interface thing?
Right.
Are we really talking about plugging our brains directly into the internet?
It sounds like something out of a cyberpunk novel.
It does.
But there's actually active research in this area.
Wow.
The goal is to create a seamless interface between our brains and computers,
Okay.
allowing us to access information, communicate, and even experience the world in entirely new ways.
Okay, I'm trying to imagine what that would even be like.
It's hard to fathom.
Would we be able to download knowledge directly into our brains, like in the Matrix?
That's one possibility Kurzweil suggests.
Wow.
Imagine having instant access to the entire sum of human knowledge, being able to learn a new language in seconds,
Right.
or even sharing thoughts and emotions directly with others.
It sounds almost too incredible to be true.
It's definitely pushing the boundaries of our imagination.
But wouldn't that also blur the lines between our individual minds and the vast network of information out there? What happens to our sense of self in that kind of world?
It's a question that cuts to the core of what it means to be human in an age of rapidly advancing technology.
Yeah.
Kurzweil believes that our identities are essentially patterns of information.
Oh, okay.
And as we merge with technology, those patterns could become more fluid and interconnected.
So it's not necessarily about losing ourselves,
Right.
but rather expanding our sense of self to encompass a much broader network of information and experience.
That's how Kurzweil sees it.
Okay.
He believes that connecting our brains to the cloud could lead to a profound expansion of consciousness,
Wow.
allowing us to tap into a collective intelligence far greater than any individual mind.
It's a mind-bending concept, that's for sure.
It is.
But let's shift gears for a moment and talk about Kurzweil himself.
Yeah.
This guy isn't just some armchair philosopher.
No, not at all.
He's actively involved in shaping the future he's predicting.
Absolutely. He's been deeply involved in artificial intelligence development for decades.
Yeah.
And his current role at Google is no exception.
Right.
He's not just talking about the future.
Mm-hmm.
He's actively working to build it.
And his ideas seem to have a pretty big influence, especially in the tech world.
Yeah.
Do you think he's shaping the way people think about the future?
I think his ideas have definitely had a significant impact,
Okay.
especially among entrepreneurs, futurists, and those working on cutting-edge technologies.
Yeah.
He's helped to spark a broader conversation about the potential of technology to transform our world
Mm-hmm.
and raise important questions about the kind of future we want to create.
And it's not just about the technology itself.
Right.
It's about the deeper implications for humanity.
Exactly. Kurzweil's work raises fundamental questions about what it means to be human in an age of accelerating technological change.
Right.
He challenges us to think about our relationship with technology, the nature of consciousness, and the very essence of life and death.
You know, it's interesting how his personal story kind of seems intertwined with these big ideas.
Yeah.
I read that Kurzweil's own father passed away when he was relatively young,
Yeah.
and that this loss had a profound impact on him.
I can imagine.
It sounds like it fueled his fascination with the idea of transcending death.
It definitely seems to be a driving force for him.
Yeah.
He's talked about his hope of one day being able to digitally reconstruct his father's consciousness
Wow.
using all the records and memories he's kept.
It's amazing.
It speaks to the deep emotional core behind his work.
Yeah.
It's not just about abstract ideas.
Yeah.
It's about the very human desire to connect with loved ones,
Yeah.
even beyond the boundaries of life and death.
Yeah, it makes you think about what motivates us to push the boundaries of what's possible.
Yeah.
Is it pure intellectual curiosity, a desire to solve problems,
Yeah.
or something deeper, like love, loss, and this yearning to transcend our limitations?
It's probably a combination of all those things.
Yeah.
But what's striking about Kurzweil is that he's not afraid to tackle these big existential questions head on.
Right.
He doesn't shy away from the philosophical and emotional implications of his ideas.
And even if some of his predictions seem far-fetched,
Right.
he's definitely making us think about the future in a different way.
I think so, too.
He's challenging our assumptions about what's possible.
Yeah.
And prompting us to consider what kind of future we want to create.
I think that's one of his most important contributions.
Yeah.
Whether you agree with him or not,
Mm-hmm.
he forces us to engage in a deeper conversation about the role of technology in our lives
Right.
and the potential impact it could have on humanity's future.
So it's not just about the gadgets and gizmos.
Exactly.
It's about the fundamental questions of what it means to be human in an age of unprecedented technological change.
Precisely. And those questions are becoming more relevant every day as technologies like AI, gene editing, and brain-computer interfaces continue to advance.
This whole deep dive has been quite a journey.
It has.
We've gone from flatbed scanners to the singularity,
It's a lot.
from tiny robots in our bloodstreams to the possibility of uploading our minds to the cloud.
Yeah.
It's a lot to absorb.
It certainly is, but I think the key takeaway here is that the future isn't something that just happens to us.
Okay.
It's something we actively shape through the choices we make today.
So we're not just passive passengers on this ride into the future.
No.
We're the ones holding the steering wheel.
Exactly. And Kurzweil's work serves as a powerful reminder that we need to be mindful of the direction we're heading
Yeah.
and the potential consequences of our actions.
Well, I think Ray Kurzweil has given us plenty to ponder.
He has.
As we navigate this rapidly changing world,
Yeah.
he's challenged us to think bigger, bolder, and perhaps even a little bit more fearlessly about what the future might hold.
And as we wrap up this deep dive into Kurzweil's world,
Yeah.
it's worth remembering that the future isn't preordained.
Mm-hmm.
It's up to us to decide what kind of world we want to create
Right.
and what role technology will play in that world.
There really is.
What will your contribution be?